What's happening, guys? Doing the throttle positioning sensor on this ZR1. I was having some trouble with the idle on the car. It would idle up while I was driving it around 2,000 RPMs and it wouldn't idle down. Intermittent issue, and the throttle became unresponsive. So I did a little bit of testing on it, and I think it's the throttle positioning sensor. Right here's the one that I took off the car, and I tested a little bit before I took it off, and this is the sweep on it right here. This rides against your throttle plates in there, but it was, the reading on it was a little jumpy, a little jagged, and I assume it's the old one. I assume it came on the car. Don't really know that to be a fact, but decided I would go ahead and change it out. There's a couple of things I ran into when looking up information about this thing. I look on YouTube and stuff and find, in forums and stuff to find the information that I need, even though I have a shop manual. So I found some conflicting information about which wires, positive and negative, on your connector that goes to your TPS. So anyway, I got that all straightened out, and I'll show you guys right down here. You can see down in here, you see where I have these little wires. See, I put shoved me some little wires down into this connector, and you got to push them pretty far in for them to get a connection. And I just bent them out so they're easier for me to test, to get my leads on my tester on them. And the top one is your positive. Middle one will be your negative, and the bottom wire is from your ECM. That's your, I think it's 0.05 volt or 5 volt feed from your ECM, so that's what gives it the power. So you don't have to mess with that one. The top one is positive, middle one's negative when you test for voltage. Okay, the voltage on this thing, the factory manual says 0.54 volts at idle or with the throttle plates closed. And it says plus or minus 0.08. So the ECM has the ability to zero it to a point itself. Right here's the shop manual right there with ignition on, and you can do this. You have to do it with your ignition turned on. Engine not running, but the ignition turned on. So right there is where it says it. TPS, 0.54 volts. And right here is where it says plus or minus 0.08. Right there. I got mine on 55. And so I'm good with that now, since it has the ability to read, if it's one way a little bit or the other. So anyway, so I got it on there and I got it set up. Now, when you tighten these things down, be careful, because when you tighten your screws, it can change your voltage a little bit. So make sure, when you tighten your torque screws right there, you test it after you get it as tight as you want it, or after you get it torqued down. Be careful with these little washers up here. See them little washers right there? Be careful, don't drop them when you take these bolts out. You can see they got a little curve in them. They go a certain way, and but just be careful about that. And so anyway, that's what I'm doing this morning, and I got it on there, and I got the voltage where I want it, and I just wanted to put this out there about those two little wires up there. The top one's your positive, and the middle one's your negative when testing with your voltmeter. And so that's what I wanted to do. I hadn't test drove it yet, but it's raining. We're not working today, so I figured it'd be a good time to do this and test it out and see if that's what my issue was. But I just want to show you guys those couple of things, and like I say, I like to read forums and stuff. You can find a bunch of information out there and on YouTube too, and but I just wanted to put this out there so you guys can see for yourselves, exactly what the shop manual says. I don't know if this works for L98s. I'm not sure. This is pertaining to a 1990 ZR1. So, but anyway, it's a cake job. Just make sure when you put your throttle positioning sensor on here, back up in here, I don't think you can see it, but that little rod is right up in there, your throttle plate. And you got to make sure that you get this little dude right here, this little lever, right up against your opener. The inside there's a little thing that pushes on it when you open the throttle that pushes this down. So when I put mine on, I actually didn't have no screws in it yet, but I stuck it in there and pulled it back this way. That way I made sure I got on that stop up there. And then after I got my screws in it, I tightened it down just enough where it wouldn't move. And I had my wife come out here and mash the throttle from inside the car while I watched it to make sure it's where it's supposed to be. So, but it's really pretty easy. Just be careful with your screws. Y'all know how these cars are, man. You drop something and chances are you're never going to see it again. You know, it disappeared or some cat hair. They like to help me when I'm working out here. So anyway, I just want to put that out there. I'll do a test drive and maybe post a video about that. I want to do a drive-by anyway so you guys can hear what this car sounds like going down the road. You can't really tell with it sitting in the garage how it really sounds, but I'm very pleased with it. It sounds good. Sounds real good when you get on it, and it sounds good when it's idling and you're just putting around. You know, it's not too loud. It's not obnoxious by any means, but it sounds pretty cool when you get down on it. So anyway, y'all have a good day.